Lots of folk are feeling kind of powerless right now. Let's look at what power you do still have. It's natural to be feeling a bit powerless right now. There's a virus going around killing people, basically, and making people sick. And there's a raft of emergency measures in force where governments are stopping people from traveling and telling people how often they can leave their houses. In some cases, making people fill out forms in order to go out of the house. And so, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that you don't have control over. But even in spite of all of that, there's a lot of stuff where you do still have power to change things. And so that's what we're going to look at today. The first thing you need to do is stop focusing on all of the things you can't control and start noticing the things that you can. Ask yourself what is in your power to control right now. Start by getting a handle on your kind of inner world, and then once you've got some control of yourself, then you can look at changing things outside of you. So one thing you can always control is your breath. That you can you can deliberately slow your breathing down. You can choose to take deeper breaths. So when people are anxious, they tend to breathe uh, quickly and take shallow breaths. And when people are relaxed, they take deeper breaths and they breathe slower. And you can control that. You can choose to slow your breathing down. And the really cool thing about that is that when you slow your breathing down, you'll find that you actually start to calm down as well. Your breathing affects your mood, just as your mood affects your breathing. So, a practical thing you can do to help if you find yourself feeling stressed, anxious, scared, is just pause and deliberately take 3 slow, deep breaths. And what you'll probably find is after doing that, you'll instantly feel better. And you can do that as many times as you like during the day. Do that whenever you notice yourself getting stressed or anxious about anything, about the news, about your finances, about the number of people dying, about sick relatives. Just do that and just buy yourself a little bit of headspace, just a tiny bit of headspace from which to make better decisions about what you're going to do. Another thing I'd suggest you do is look at all the places in your life where you give away the power you do have. Um, do you know where your food comes from? Do you know anything about growing food or foraging for wild edibles? Do you go berry picking in the autumn? Uh, there's knowing that you know how to find food uh, gives you a sense of control of your own life that you don't have if everything you eat you get from the supermarket. Uh, do you think about where your clothing comes from? Could you repair your clothes if you needed to? Could you make clothes from fabric? Could you upcycle stuff into new clothing? Uh, and the answer is yes. It's something a lot of people don't think about, but that's another area where you can get power over your own destiny. If your clothes are falling apart, you can fix them. You don't have to go to the shop and buy new ones. The same is true of other things. You can find any number of YouTube videos that will tell you how to repair, um, you know, a misbehaving computer um, or to do something with a phone that isn't performing up to scratch. Another place where people often give away their power is income, that people sell their time to a company and trust that at the end of the month they're going to get a pay packet, and that's how they live. Uh, and you may not be able to rely on that going forward. You need to understand how you personally can make money uh, and support yourself and your family if your employer goes bankrupt, if your existing business folds. You need to find ways to get creative and understand how you can keep putting food on the table and keep paying the rent uh, if your regular monthly income disappears for some reason. So there are all these areas of your life where you have power, but you choose not to exercise it. And the way the world is going now, you can't afford yourself that luxury anymore. So what I want you to do is take 5 minutes and just write down on a piece of paper or on your computer all the areas in which you're giving away power that you have, and try and come up with some ideas to reclaim at least some of that power, so that you feel like there's more stuff in your life that you have control over. Because if the little stuff is under control, then it makes the bigger stuff easier to deal with. Everything you can knock off the list of things that feel out of control and outside your power is one less thing you have to deal with. So, see you tomorrow in the next video.